Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see that black line on the bottom. That's all dead black algae that I am brushing off, squirting off the from the Pebble Tech after the chlorine. So I'm doing this right now to just show you, because once I start recording I can't really stop. So I was just doing a little test thing. So that is a lot of black algae, and I will tell you the story in a second of why we decided to take this approach. I'll be right back. Hi, Lucy here. Okay, so as you could see, hopefully, they have a really bad black algae infestation. Now, for the past week, we've been trying with the pool full to get a metal brush and scrape it off, put in silver tree, just do everything that's you're supposed to do. But this is, when you get this far into an infestation, it's really, really difficult. So what we decided to do was drain the pool halfway, because there's, we have a water shortage out here, so we're trying to do the best we can. But so we drained it halfway, and what you might have seen is when I was rinsing, because I wanted to do a little test thing. So I'm going to use this liquid, half and half liquid chlorine, half water, and just do it in little sections. Pour it on and let it rest for a few minutes, and then rinse it off. And then I have a pressure washer that I'm going to use, but with Pebble Tech you don't want to use like the strong jet. You want to kind of fan it out a little bit, but this is going to help get the black algae out from being embedded in the Pebble Tech. Because black algae is resistant enough, but when it's this far along in Pebble Tech, it's like crazy. So and then after, what we're going to do, because you might think, well, you're putting a bunch of black algae in the pool. Well, that's correct, but we're going to run the system and either vacuum it up once it settles, or they have a pool vac, and let that run, and we'll fill the water back up. Then once it's all clear, we're going to clean the filter, give that a chlorine bath, and rinse it really well. And then hopefully we won't, they'll take the steps to prevent the black algae from coming in. Okay, so anyway, I'm just going to show you a little bit, but that's, even people like me that have been doing this for years and years and years, trying to treat black algae when it gets so far is very, very difficult. And sometimes you do have to drain the pool down and use chlorine. So if you're thinking of like doing an acid wash, getting two things done at once, that's not going to work. The best way to do it, is to do the chlorine bath, rinse the heck out of the algae that's there, and then make sure that if you're going to do an acid wash after, you have it absolutely rinsed. You sucked out all the chlorine from the main drain, everything, because that combination of acid and chlorine it can be deadly, honestly. So that's if we're not going to acid wash this pool. We're just going to do the chlorine bath and for the black algae that you saw around the pool. And I'm just going to show you a little section of it, because you don't need to see the whole thing. And I'm going to get going, because it's going to be another 110 degrees today. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll be back in a second, but I'll show you a little bit of it. Okay, bye. Okay, so you can see that it took off quite a bit, but I am still going to get my power washer and just set that up and remember it's going to be on a little bit of a fan thing. So anyway, I'm going to keep going around and doing this, and I'll show you the final result. So I don't know if you guys can see this. This is seriously the worst infestation of black algae I have ever seen. So, I don't know if it was me, I would drain the whole pool. So I'm gonna have to see what they want to do because this is like really bad. And then see like the other side. You can see that. So we have like all that to take off. Well, okay. That's me. Whoops. Okay. Okay, so as you can see, we had to end up draining it. And all that on the bottom, that was all black algae that when the pump, drained it, and it was all accumulated because in the previous clip, when I had pressure washed it, it had gotten about a foot of the algae, but then underneath it was about another foot, and there was just too much. We had to do it. So the bottom line is black algae is the most resistant of algae. It's not going to go away on its own. So if you're watching this video right now and you even have a speck of black algae, when you have to brush it with a metal brush. If it's on the bottom, you shut your system off and you can put some granular trichlor, sit it right on top of it, and then when it disappears, like it takes a few hours, and then brush it again. But if you just brush black algae and don't treat it, those little spores are going to spread, and they spread easier in either PebbleTech. Sorry, it's like really humid and hot out here. Either in PebbleTech or in a plaster that has a lot of cracks in it. And so you really, really, really want to jump on it. And the main thing is to prevent it in the first place. And you do that by running your system long enough, especially in the summertime. I mean, it's this warm water, especially on the West Coast and Las Vegas and Phoenix and all that, it's a breeding ground for algae. So you have to stay on top of it, and that means keeping your filters clean, circulating the system long enough. A lot of people try to cut back on the hours. It's not worth it because the money and the expense that these people went through is way more than if they would have just added a few more hours a day on the circulation. So and then using the pressure washer is a real good way. I mean, if you get to the point where the infestation was as bad as this one, using a pressure washer and to get in. I mean, I probably covered every square inch of this pool, and I'll show you the results. But it's a lot of work. But again, the emphasis on prevention, because and jumping on it if you happen to get, see a little speck of black algae. Oh, and the other thing is, don't misread black algae and rebar rust, because a lot of people see a little dark spot and they start brushing it and then it gets larger. That may be rebar rust, so be very careful about that. That'll be another video one day if I find a pool that needs that patch. But be careful about brushing that, because you're only exposing the rebar more. So make sure that it's black algae. You'll know if you scratch it with your fingernail and little black stuff comes underneath, or it's kind of easy to differentiate. Anyway, that's about it. I'll show you the end result, and it turned out beautiful. And again, after it was all cleaned up and pumped out, and then we cleaned the cartridges again after we let the system run a little bit, and washed the cartridges with chlorine also, to just sanitize everything. And always keep your pH at around 7.2 to 7.4 if you can. And then don't let your sanitizer, don't let your chlorine level drop below 1.5 or 2.0 in the summer. Okay, it's really important because that will keep the algae from getting in there. I mean, there's other factors, but that will really help. Okay, so try to stay on top of everything to prevent a situation like this. That was like 33,000 gallons of water that we just had to dump. Unfortunately, it hurts me to say that and to do it, but it had to be done. And but these kinds of things can be prevented. So go out there, look at your pool, look in the little crevices and all that, and go on my website. You can read how to treat it. Go to a pool store. Hopefully they'll tell you which product to use, depending on where your black algae is. If it's on the wall or on the floor. The wall you'll use, like I like to use Biodex Silvertrine, because it kind of coats the plaster or the Pebble Tech. And then on the bottom, use a trichlor to treat it. But again, just stay on top of it, okay? And then you'll enjoy your pool. Have a good summer. Won't think it's a pain in the butt to have a pool. And that's it. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.